This video is going to be about the 3 worst consequences of adultery in marriage. I'm going to show you from a couple I worked with what she was so scared of and how it was going to affect longer than she ever thought. She hadn't considered these 3 options and how dangerous they would be for her and the others in her family. I got a call from the police officer friend because the domestic danger that was going on in the household, it was bad. No one was injured, thank goodness, but parents-in-law, they were all involved. Things were being thrown around the house. I don't think anyone was cut or injured in any way, but it was getting to the point where it was very dangerous and the house was being structurally damaged. My friend, the police officer, had asked Sarah, the wife involved in the adultery, if she could talk separately, and then asked Tom later, the husband involved, if they would like some help. She referred them to me. I showed up on the spot. It was ugly. They were terrified. The kids definitely knew something was going on. Parents had them leave while they had their arguments and things were getting dangerous. I would imagine neighbors heard it. It was loud. It was awful. It was scary. So I started talking to Sarah and to Tom at the same time. Sarah had a look of fear and death on her face. It was bad. She was worried. Tom was crying. Tom said he never saw it coming. He never believed she would do something like this. He had no idea that she would betray him. They knew things were rough. They argued a lot. They avoided each other a lot. But Tom thought things were actually getting better. He thought they were trying to make things work out. Well, they were actually on an anniversary date. And that's when it all went down. When they were on their anniversary date, Sarah went to the bathroom in the restaurant. She started sexting and taking inappropriate pictures, sending them to this other love interest. After that happened, she came back to the restaurant table. Her and Tom were having their anniversary date. They were chatting. She acted as if nothing happened. But her phone was face up, and it was out in the open, on the restaurant table. And that's when she got a text with a picture on it. Her love interest sexted her back, an inappropriate pic. Of course, Tom saw it. She didn't have a chance to hide it. She froze. She was stunned. And that's when Tom said, "What is this? Who is this?" And when he opened it up, he also saw her pictures in there as well. He saw what she sent to the other person. Then it got heated. Fast forward to when they went home. Who knows what was said in the car ride home? Name-calling, blaming, shock, anger, disgust, disbelief. Tom said to me, "What am I supposed to do? I thought we were trying to make things work out. I never saw this coming. She totally betrayed me. She told me she wanted to work things out. And then she does this." Of course he was beside himself. He had no idea what to do. Things were heated. Things were being thrown around the house. Parents-in-law. They hurried to get children out. Sarah was extremely scared. She didn't have a good excuse. She was about to lose a lot. She was about to lose everything, and the consequences were piling up. She was about to go through, and what was about to become the 3 worst consequences of adultery in a marriage. The worst I've ever seen. Next, Sarah gave her story as she was sitting on the couch. Her face was stark white, extremely scared, the unknown, and what was about to happen. All she said was, "I don't know why I did it. I wish I would have never done it. I am so sorry. I don't know how to tell him how sorry I am. I don't know how to tell him I will never do it again. I don't know how to get him to trust me. I don't know if he can ever forgive me. I don't know if he will ever forgive me. I wish I could move past all this." Tom interrupted, crying, sobbing. Parents were there. Parents-in-law were there. Everyone knew. Tom said, How could I trust you? How could you do this to me? If you loved me, you would never do this to me. I thought we were trying to work things out. Things were bad, but I didn't know you would ever do this. You said you loved me. You said you would try to make things work out, and then you go and do this to me. You go and do this to our family. It was just interruption after interruption. I was almost at the point where I needed to separate both of them, just so I could talk to each of them separately, figure out how to help them to even begin to see what they wanted to do. We got to a point where I could talk, And also probably the hardest part, because Sarah was scared about the consequences. Tom didn't know if he could ever move on. He felt betrayed. How could he forgive her? How could he feel like he once did? So I called it out. I said, Tom, for you, if you could feel better, if you could learn to trust again. Now it's too far in the future right now, but if you could, would it be something you'd want? To trust her? Would you ever want to? And of course, Sarah had tears streaming down her cheeks, felt nauseous, her face was stark white. All she could do was look up at him with tear-stained eyes, hoping, pleading inside that he would want to forgive her. Her eyes begged for him to trust her again. And of course, Tom, feeling the way he did, the shock that he felt, he was broadsided. He said, I just don't know how that would ever happen. I said, I know. It probably feels like a distant thing. He said, but I just don't know why she would ever do something like that. How could she ever do that to us? We have 3 children. Why would she do that to me and the children? Why would she do this to our family? Why would she tear us apart? I said, I don't know the answer is going to help you feel any better. I will tell you the answer, and I will go through it with her. I'm pretty sure just from talking to you guys that I have this figured out, but the answer won't make you feel any better. I think we have to take care of the step before that, where you don't feel so hurt, where you don't feel so broken, where you don't feel worthless and discarded. I think that might be the best first step. Tom responded, I don't know how I'm ever going to feel like myself again. I feel broken. I feel lost. I feel like everything is taken away from me. I don't know how I'm going to pull through this. I don't think I ever will. I said, then that's where we start. We need you to feel whole again, not feel broken, feel like yourself. If we could get you to a place where you didn't feel broken anymore, if we could get you to a place where you felt like yourself again, and we could get you to a place where you felt strong again, confident again, if we could get you to that spot, would it be a better position? Then you might at least be able to think what you might want to do, whatever that may be. Then you might at least be able to think and lift the fog. Then you might be able to think if this is something that you even want to go through with. If you want to trust her again, if you want to believe her again, if you want to forgive her again, but first, maybe we need to look into you and your health. Is that something that you would like to do? He said yes. I responded, hang in there, Tom. I think we can work through this, man. Hang in there. It's going to take a little bit, but I think that some of the biggest sting and some of the biggest pain has already been done. I think we can get you whole again. He said, you think so? Doesn't it take a while? I said, yes. With normal therapy, yes, it can take a while. But with your permission, we can do this better. We can lift the brain fog, get you feeling better. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, man. I don't think you'll want to feel this way anymore, and I think we can work through this. Sarah, when I looked over, she had the scaredest look on her face. She didn't know what would happen after he came to himself, after he was feeling whole again, after he wasn't feeling broken, after he felt confident to make his decisions again. I asked her, I said, Sarah, do you know why you did what you did? She said, no, I have no idea. I wish I did. It was stupid. I should have never done it. I'm probably going to lose my entire family. I'm probably going to lose my kids. I'm probably going to lose everything I care about. I'm probably going to lose the trust of my own family, my own parents, my own brothers and sisters. I don't know why I did it. It was so stupid. I should have never done it. I don't even like the other guy. Tom was confused. He jumped in and said, if you didn't like the other guy, why would you ever do something like this? Why would you ever hurt the family like this? And she just responded, with her tear-stained eyes, I don't know. I really don't know why I did something stupid like this. I am so sorry. I don't know how I could ever get through to you again or get you to believe me again. I don't know if you should ever believe me again. I wish you would, but I don't know how to get you to do that. I don't know how to let you know that I am sorry. I really don't know. I really don't know how to get you to forgive me. It was stupid of me. I said, Tom, you might want to cover your ears for this part. I looked at Sarah and said, Sarah, on your end, I don't think this is going to be pleasant at all because of the situation you're in. Sarah, if you could get him to trust you again, if you could get him to want to forgive you, if you could figure out why you did this and make sure that you repaired your relationship so it wouldn't happen again, is that something you would want? And of course, she said yes. But because of those looming 3 consequences that I'm about to share, she never knew how bad they could be. Number 1, psychological pain. After I started working with Sarah, so she could believe that Tom might forgive her again, she had to realize the deeper hurt she actually caused, which was far worse than any hurt Tom admitted to. He didn't know how to admit to it. He didn't know how to describe it. He didn't have the words to explain it. The pain was so deep that he felt broken. Those were his words. And those are the words that a lot of people use after something like this happens. They didn't see it coming. The reason his hurt was so deep was because his love language and how it was tampered with. His love language was physical touch, how it was used against him. And to know that she did that with another individual was even more harmful. The last thing he would want to do is let her touch him again. The last thing he would want to do is touch her again. The last thing he would want to do is believe that he was safe by being touched by somebody who used his love language against him. Now this can look a little different if somebody's love language is different than physical touch. It can hurt in different ways, but Tom's love language was physical touch. After Sarah realized that, she realized this is one of the worst things she could have done, and one of the worst ways that she could have harmed him. She didn't have the words to express how she could try to get his love back, or how she could get him to forgive her, or how she could prove that she was worthy of trust again. But now at least she understood why the pain cut so deep. Next, I started working with Tom, and the second most harmful consequence was how broken he felt. He didn't want something like that to happen. He did want to feel whole again. He wanted to feel strong again, confident again. So first we talked about his love language and how it was used against him. And no doubt that's why it hurt so much. No doubt that's why he wasn't sure if he could trust anyone. Trust someone would do that again. Would someone use it against him and betray him again? Would he get hurt again? Those questions circled around in his mind. So we also talked about his wife's love language, words of affirmation. She said she didn't know why she did it. He now knew why she did it. I said, does she feel like she gets enough from you? He said, well, we were trying to work on it. We were trying to make the marriage better, but we argue a lot. She said, I criticize a lot, and nothing is ever good enough. She said, I'm always pointing out her wrongs. And I said, can you see how damning and harmful her physical touch is to someone else, and how that affected you? And can you see how words affect her? I wasn't sure how that one would settle, actually, because society seems to think that some infractions are worse than another. But in truth, anyone's love language used against them can cut right to the middle. And he said, but it still hurts so much. I said, oh yeah, dude, it will hurt. It'll hurt a lot. I think both of you are hurting quite a bit, and neither one of you intended to make the other hurt so badly. But when someone gets hurt so badly, they usually look in other places, sometimes inappropriate places, to get their love language met. And sometimes their love language shows where their weakness is. With Sarah's love language, it was to be validated by someone she didn't even care about. It was to affirm how good-looking she was, how wanted she would be, how pretty she was. In your love language, you didn't want to share that with anyone else. So it would cause you to feel broken, like there was no hope, like you didn't know who to turn to. I'm sure if you could have trusted someone right now, you would love a hug that would help you to feel at least a little better. But definitely, it would have to be from someone you trusted. This is why it hurts so much, because you don't have that touch. You don't have that trust from someone in this moment. And that was the second worst consequence. And they had no idea what they were doing to affect each other's love language. Tom admitted, I didn't know these things. And I can see where things started to break down. We started using each other's love language for the wrong reason, but never on purpose. We never tried to hurt the other person intentionally. Now I can see why it started to go downhill. The third biggest consequence was the children. They knew it would affect their children. Their children heard the parents arguing a lot, but had no idea about the affair. What their children did know was the harmful arguments and words that were used against one another. The parents needed to know what each of their children's love languages were, so that they wouldn't be misusing their children's love language. I met with both of them the very next day as well. Both of them were still very scared, very battered, tired, emotionally exhausted, and Tom was still hurting. But he said, "I didn't know I could feel this much better in one day." Sarah, still scared, still looked very saddened and sorry for what she had done, because there was now a lot deeper realization, a realization of how Tom's language was used against him. And Tom understood why the relationship started to go downhill. Sarah's love language had been long since used against her, every time they fought and argued. Now both understood how words can make a big difference in their children's lives, and they learned their children's love language. We went over each one of them in turn. We needed to make sure that their children wouldn't get hurt. We needed to make sure that their marriage was headed in the right direction. We needed to make sure that their family was headed in the right direction. So if you need help making sure that your marriage is going to go in the right direction, if you need help making sure that your marriage won't go down this path, or if you need it to heal, click the link in the description. I will show you how to find out where your love languages are. I'll give you a free PDF and how you can understand your child and your loved ones and your spouse's love languages and how to repair what seems irreparable. Click the link below.